unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs.
A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs that landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
All right, truth seekers, what's going on? It is Friday night, and I want to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. I'm just chilling, but hopefully you had a great week, or you did some exciting, or you're okay that it is Friday, and then you're putting the week behind you. But either way, I just want to tell you, thank you for being here. You could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. I want to welcome you to this year's 2024 podcast of the year. I'm Roderick Martin, your host tonight. And yes, we're claiming it, baby, and we'll start to put in 2025. But maybe it's someone else in our audience is going to be the winner next year. We'll just support your dream and things like that. And if you want to do that. But anyway, tonight we're going to talk about the alien stuff, and I'm just going to go off the cuffs here because there's a lot of things that's been on my mind that I think we can talk about, we can share today as a community. And one in particular is the UFO phenomenon still hyped? Is this still something that everybody is curious about? Or, I want to see a UFO, or if you see some on TikTok, are you watching it? Or we're waiting for the actual alien now. Have the government done a good job of desensitizing the public, since, you know, and giving us all of these different congressional hearings? That hypes it though, right? But on the other hand, I think the public might be saying, you know what, we really don't give her sugar honey iced tea, right? And and so we'll just kind of look at that. But tell me a little bit, give a shout on the chat, or are you still wanting to see aircraft in the skies, or are we waiting for the big one, for someone to come up and say, hey, my name is Akbach, which is a story that I use all the time, which is the alien themselves. It's been a great week. I've been really just into it, working on some new things, some new ventures for where we're going, some new conversations that we're going to be having, for some new direction that we're going to take our community. In fact, it's going to be one of the most profound things that we're going to be doing. Some stuff I've been studying for the last couple of months, and I'm ready to kind of bring it into fruition, especially when it gets down to some of the topics that we're going to be covering. Looks like we're going to be joined by Nicole a little bit. So as always, a great conversation when it gets down to the alien talk, pretty much. And she's one of the respected people in our inner circle when it comes down to knowledge to pass on to me and to you and everything else. Great research. And actually, she's the lead researcher for our organization. But one again, the alien theory, what is going on with this? And I'll give a shout out to some of you in the chat right now. In fact, I can do that while I'm sitting here. Let me kind of look over to the other side. So we have Kill All Zombies in the house, Melanated Brown in the house, Penny is in the house. We have Miss Thomas in the house. You already know who that is. Kim is in the house. Nursing the Paranormal. Thank you. Matter of fact, I was sitting down and people kept saying, Roderick, why are you just sitting there? I said, I'm waiting on Nursing the Paranormal to call me. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to do anything. We had some business to discuss. There's some great stuff. But anyway, Philly Cat is in the house. Jay Shire is in the house. Diane in the house. Body Electric Supplement is always in the house. Lavender is there, and Joe Blow Schmo is in the house. And then let's see, Tina is with us. Sean is in the house. And if I skip you, charge it to the brain and not the heart. Trader's Playbook and later Lady Soul Real. So congratulations for all of you being here. Like, once again, we're going to get into a great topic and everything. Well, and I'll say it early to my haters, if you're here right now hating on me, I want to thank you, because really you are a fan. So let's get down to it. Why, or for me, let's start with me. Why am I not too excited when I get a phone call and someone says, hey, I see a UFO, or hey, I want to send you this photograph or whatever. And sometimes I look at it, pretty much, she says, laugh out loud, I will call, it's been crazy. Maybe it's been paranormal. Yeah, okay, cool. But why am I not too excited anymore? I'm a UFO investigator, right? By DNA. I'm into this stuff. I've been doing it for years. And when somebody would call, I would jump up and like, okay, let me see the photos. Let me check this out. Let me do some diagnostics on it. Oh, let me do some photo imagery and let's just dissect this thing. Tell me where you were. Give me the coordinates. Now somebody call me and they say, I see a UFO. And I'm like, okay. And I'll get, and in fact, I'm not saying it. If you sent me a photograph of something in the last few weeks, then you probably didn't get the response that you expected to get, because again, my excitement level is at a minimum when it comes down to this now. I think I'm waiting on the big one. I hope I'm not alone, but I'm waiting on the big one. I'm waiting for the alien to get out and wave. I'm waiting to be driving down the street and there he goes crossing the street saying, welcome to Earth, or me saying, welcome to Earth. Because at this point, what are we going to talk about? What, your spacecraft technology? Oh, am I concerned that you got anti-gravity, technology? Oh, your ship can cloak? What does that got to do with my life? That's where I'm at now. But back in the day, it had everything to do with my life, because I was excited. I wanted to know. I wanted to pass the information on. I wanted to get into some of the inner circles and be like, hey, man, you see that UFO? Check this out. What do you think is real? Whoa, what kind of ship is this? Where is it coming from? Am I being disconnected? Or am I just burnt out? What do you all think? Because at the end of the day, I want to see a freaking alien, right? Now, I've had my court seeing an alien. I can say I've been at the big league. I say I can be at the mountaintop, literally. And I've had my contact with a extraterrestrial, and I told y'all the story. If you haven't heard it, you can go back and look at some of the old videos. So my excitement is there. I'm talking about the not the one that has the human features. I'm looking for the one with, that looks like a mantis. I want to see a mantis, 6'8" mantis, not up close, because I'm delicious. I'm sweet. Y'all know that. And I'm delicious. And he just may say, I want to make a meal of this brother. So not that. But I also want to see that reptilian, right? I want to see the feline lion. Oh, the avian blue. Oh, yeah. I want to see the Nordics. Oh, yeah. Give me the tall grays. Oh, give me the short grays. Where are these people, or where are they? Now, I don't have a reservation to say I've changed my mind that aliens don't exist. They do. I think at this point it's time for us to say, hey, let's get down to business, because now they're already talking about there's a great reveal coming. There is some type of great reveal on its way in 2025. That's been the undercurrent in our community for quite some time, if you haven't heard. So we are waiting for the big enchilada. We're waiting for the big O. We're waiting for the big gulp, if you still go to 7-Elevens back in the day. So we're waiting for that, or Wendy's, where's the beef, right? But the whole point I'm saying is, I think I'm a little tired of just trying, because even when I was with MUFON, the people at MUFON were excited, and I shared the excitement at one point in time. They would hang around in the meetings, and if we got this UFO report, because most of everything is virtual, then some people would actually drive out to the location. Now, I've done it once, or maybe twice in my early infantry stage of it. And they go out and you try to look up in the sky and you're trying to reenact it. And I'm like, what the freaking what? I'm saying it to myself when I was doing it. And I'm standing out there in front of somebody's yard, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy, because when I tell them I'm here because somebody reported a UFO sighting in your neighborhood, and some of them would say, was that old crazy Larry? And I'll be like, what? Was that crazy Larry? And it's like, oh, okay, then, so crazy Larry is well known in the neighborhood for ultimately reporting UFOs all the time. And so here I am out there, looking for the UFO. So we can kind of do that. Another thing is, once again, I know there's a couple of them out, they're in Dallas, but it is time now. It is time. In fact, I set a record high today in the gym. I was really going, and I set somehow I just had this energy this morning. And I said, you know what, Rod, run, man, run. I'm on an exercise bike, right? And I hit it really hard. I'm sweat just running profusely down my face and everything else. And then I shaved 3 minutes off my normal time. I'm like, you can do this, boy. You can do it. So I felt real good. Still got a lot of energy, but I was up all night thinking about the alien stuff, thinking about the new direction for us, thinking about what's important for the audience when we get down to these conversations. And so I'm gonna give you a hint. It's all about symbolism. Okay. We're going to get a lot into that, because I've been studying that deeply over the last several months, and, tapped around in years ago, and have found that we are truly in the dark on a lot of things, but we're going to bring it to light here. We're going to bring it to light in our community, and tie it into the secret societies, which the secret societies are tied into aliens. So it all has a loop-de-loop, if that's what you want to call it, because that's what is happening. So we're going to be doing that. So the other part of that will be also looking at, the religion side. More and more I go down the rabbit hole, in which I would not call it a rabbit hole. Now, more and more I go down the pathway of truth. I'm starting to find out that there is some truth out there that we're just not being told. And that's something that, we need to really look at. And I think sometimes we just don't care. We don't care because it is not something that we are privileged to, or we care about, or even we just want to know. And I think that's something that we need to look at when it gets down to it. So we're going to go down a rabbit hole of truth. We're going to go into some religion, secret societies, which that is something I'm very profound. And then we're going to go into symbolism a lot more. And in fact, I brought a little book that I was going into, that I have a couple of symbols here, and I don't think a lot of people understand just the simple symbols that we go through. And we'll go back to this in a little bit when get Nicole in here with us. But these simple marks mean a lot, but yet we take them for granted every day, but yet they use them back in the day at methodical times for spells, rituals, magic, and this stuff works. But anyway, let's get back to the alien talk. So my question for the audience, for any of you, do you feel that the UFO thing is the hype of UFOs is down here a little bit now? And I'm going to share this with you because I've always thought, being a content creator, that all the people who had shows called UFO this and UFO that wouldn't stand the test of time, especially now, because not only the algorithms of YouTube are different, people are different. There was a guy named Tyler with Secure Team 10. He's about the only one that ended up getting millions of subscribers because back then he was posting all these little videos. But for me to be here talking every week or week in and out and want to tell you about an alien craft, or I got some reports on that, the survival rate is slim to none to be a successful content creator in the future. And so that was one of my moves back in the day. So when I rebranded several times, but each time was better and better, I was able to understand significantly, what to change, how to interpret things, to say, you know what, you want to do your content like this, you want to do it like this. But when it comes down to the alien stuff. So for example, I've been in 11 different TV shows. Some of you know that. Gaia, if you did know, several shows on Gaia. Discovery Channel hosted a show there. Forbidden Knowledge TV, Ancient Aliens, was featured there. Fox Tubi, I was in a couple of shows there. Some stuff on Amazon Prime and a couple other places. Bigfoot 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or whatever. Some stuff that is, and then I got other projects. But I still been more intrigued by some of these things. So let me look over here for a minute and see if anybody's going to answer the questions. What do y'all think when it comes down to the UFO? So Judith says, I'm more interested in the why and now, and I how it fit into the universe of existence. Well, the why and now is not so much of the significant part, Judith. I think when it comes down to the why, it is because technology and people are able to capture information, and information is moving a lot faster than it used to. So therefore, somebody get a video in Tennessee, by the time they load it up to TikTok, by the time 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's got 50,000 views. It's all over the world. By the time tomorrow, if it's something significant, it is out there. So people are bombarded with real stuff, fake stuff, government stuff. Maybe it was just some light in the sky. Maybe it was somebody playing with the video stuff. It's all of that. But I did a show, Why Now? I did a show, Why Now, 3 years ago. If you go back to this channel, it was one of the first of 2 videos that I ever did. And that was the one that the Discovery Channel discovered me to be on their television show. So it was because I was doing a video about why now. And still today, I could probably reenact that entire video, but at the end of the day, I'm not interested. I'm just really not, because once again, when I look at the government hearings and I see some of the, and now another part is being on the up and up is the support that I've gotten from our community, and being a lone wolf, so to speak, and a handful of us in our community talking about this, we just been at a very disadvantage. So I'm not going to say, well, okay, I'm disappointed with our public sentiment because we didn't get the support. So even like Project Black, but there's stuff bigger happening with that. But the other point was I ran into a lot of brick walls, because although everybody was interested and everybody wanted to support everything, the problem was we didn't match the content. There wasn't enough people, and there's still some great stories out there that we're going to tell. Now that I'm going to venture into our own documentary company and all of that stuff, we're now going to just make our own films. We're going to do that. So we're starting the first actually, we already in conversation with some of the first projects right as we speak. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, where is the interest? Where is it? And so if tomorrow there was a crash site and then there was bodies, or there was something flying out of it, or people report it got out and walked, like the Las Vegas thing. Now I'm still interested in stuff like that. I'm still interested in the story of the hunt, the thrill of, is it real? Is there a line? Or are they making this stuff up? But let's put the pieces. Why did the police act like this? Why did they cut the cameras off? All these things that make you go, that this probably be some type of real scenario in this situation. But other than that, let me look over in the chat. Please like and share. Yeah, there you go. Y'all hit Philly Cat. Exactly. Like and share the videos and everything else. Support the channel. Tell others. Yeah, because we're about to blow up. I'm telling you, and I've said this before, but never before have I been more excited, more just enthusiastic about staying up at night, trying, and now racking my brain to make sure I put some stuff together, because I'm toying between live streaming or just getting out on the street and creating video content and just uploading it, and maybe every 2 weeks or so coming here connecting. But I can't go that long without missing you guys. So I'm trying to find a medium in between where I'm still here live streaming, or I can do better content. So be ready that if we are live streaming, then the live stream is going to be short, because I'm now putting together this package the way I want to deliver the content. Maybe 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to get in and get to the freaking point. No small talk over here. Paint the picture for you, give you the information, and articulate things in such a way that it's going to be entertaining to you. And then from there, we're just going to go and do what we have to do. So I'm thinking about that. Or I can integrate a little bit together. Now, I will honestly say that my desire to get out on the street in the past was to get the content, but there was one dilemma. One dilemma was me being in the physical shape to do that, because the excitement was there. And then one time I tried it, I went out to this park, and I was 60 pounds more than I am now. And it was a little difficult. It was very freaking difficult. The sun was out. I was cramping. Now I drink almost a gallon of water today, so I can handle that. And it's all different mindset now. So probably that's why I got the energy, like, just get out on the street now. Let's just get some stories. And we're going to do that. So I'm still looking into doing that. Some people say both. We can kind of do that. It's difficult to differentiate what is ours and theirs and what is. Yeah. And Jessica, that is true. But do we care? Do we really care? Do we care that the big secret keepers found an aircraft, sent it over to McDonnell Douglas, had them to do reverse engineering, build some gamma ray with it, still hiding it from us, but yet we still dealing with our day-to-day lives financially or whatever. Now, if there was an alien on the loose in the neighborhood, unaliving people, we finding skeleton remains, and he feasting only on skinny people. I mean, and he's out there, all people that are healthy and eating vegetables, and that's his taste bud. He want those healthy bodies and souls. I don't know if I'll be in on the hunt. No, I'll still save y'all. I still will. But if he's out there, you know what I'm saying? He wants them slim gyms, and you know, all of y'all that got zero body fats because he just really want the healthy things. And now if there was an alien on the loose doing that, I'm still might get down with the program and do that. But what I'm saying is, this is what you want. This is the part of that I think is important for us to go. So once again, I've said it before, if you ever attended the congressional hearing by video, and when they was talking about all this stuff and the whistleblowers and even now, think about David Grush. And let me put a note here, because I'm going to talk with Nicole when she get here. Where did he go? Where did David Grush go? Like they just put him in oblivion, you know what I'm saying, in his stories. He might still showing up somewhere else. I don't know. So we have to look at that. But where I'm going with this is, in the congressional hearing, when they said that, oh yeah, we have what they call it, unmanned spacecraft or abandoned spacecraft that was found. That part was the only part that caught my interest, because that meant that somebody was think about any of us, that there was an abandoned car in your front yard and you don't know where the occupant is, or just maybe, and you stay out in the country. You get what I'm saying? You stay out in the country on 15, 20 acres. You ain't got no neighbors for another mile. And you wake up one morning, there is a abandoned car in front yard right under your pecan tree. Okay? Right under your pecan tree, sitting right in the front yard next to your bench or your kid's swing. And there's this park, but it's empty. See, that's the stuff that you get aroused for. You know, that's the things that you start calling in the neighborhood, you know, gangsters and the swimming ducks and the Navy SEALs and the go-go boys and everybody. Everybody's on the same team. That's where you go, and you go under the bed and you blow off that old 22 rifle or whatever it is, because now you're not on a manhunt. You're on a creature or maybe an alien hunt. There's something that's sitting out there out in the field. So that's what I would be doing. And that's where my concern is. So forgive me if my enthusiasm has shifted over the last couple of months or 3 months, maybe. No, it's been going on quite some time, maybe about 6 months, that I'm no longer just totally intrigued with getting a UFO report, right? And it's just not enough action there. Now, I'm still in it. You can still send them. You can still specify, hey, here's something, but just make sure it's extraordinary. Make sure it's not just some plain Jane, here's a glow light. And what is that? You got drones, you got mini drones, you got kids playing with toys now. You have all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying that the extraterrestrials or beings are not doing multidimensional things, but I'm just saying, if you're going to send it, make sure it's extraordinary. Sir, don't be talking about my pecan tree. I'm telling you, it's what it is. And that's one of the things that I'm talking about when it comes down to it. So the hype, where is the hype? Is it important? Now, let me give you a flip side to the story. I believe that for those of us being in ufology for all these years, we're spent so much time telling you, don't believe the big secret keepers. Don't believe them. Don't believe them. Don't believe them, Bernard. Y'all remember the movie? If you do, put it in the chat. So, you know, it's like we spend all of this time trying to convince our community that they lie, they're not telling anything, don't believe them. And these suckers reversed the plan on us a few years ago. They turn around and say, no, let's give them transparency and confuse their whole community. Because now we done painted them as the bad guy. It's almost like I've been in a relationship. I remember I was married to the she-wolf, and we would have these things, and I would try to do some nice stuff. This was when we dated. And she would say, like, well, why are you so nice? Why are you doing this now? And it was all so speculative. And I think that'll be the same notion that we should carry when it comes down to why are they now doing it now? And same thing Judith said, why now? Because that means they have another plan and it's something bigger. So if they're willing to give us some, you know, again, if you're willing to give a mouse a cookie, you can rest assured you're going to want a glass of milk. So they're giving us the cookies. And now I want a glass of milk. I want the freaking alien, right? I want the alien now, you know, and no BS and all of this stuff. And I want to see the actual alien when it comes down to this. So they got a plan. They got a plan is let's bombard society. Let's show them enough UFOs that they will begin, just like anything else, stop looking up. They will begin not to ask questions because it's the norm now. They see something flying in the sky, they go, oh, that must be an alien. And nobody cares because it's just driving and flying by on its own business until it stop and catch somebody. So that's where I think their plan is. Their plan is to get us to where it's the norm, and then the new extraordinary stuff is higher than the norm, which the norm at one point was the golden goose of information and conversation and documentation that we seeked and all this whole community hovered around all the time to make sure that, hey, I got this story, or, you know, because I used to get texts. Somebody would text me, hey, Rod, you need to look at this. Hey, Rod, check this out. And I'll be like, yeah, oh, man, I don't know what that is. And we're looking at this thing, it's blurry, and it just sitting in the sky. It looks like a speck of dirt on the camera lens, but we're checking it out, going into investigation mode, going over to the computer and doing some type of photo analysis, again, trying to check the coordinates. Hey, where did you see it at? Oh, let's check the wind speed. Oh, let's go check, make sure it wasn't sunny at that moment, or was it clear clouds, or, oh, let's send this over to such and such and tell me what you think. And that same photo is passing around as a dot, by the way. It's a freaking dot where nobody knows what it is. And they're blowing it up now. When you blow it up, it looks like a horrendous spacecraft, right? You blow it up, it's got windows, and you see an alien there with his head. It's distorted as hell. It's so distorted that you can close your eyes and open your eyes, you're going to see Jesus, right? But we're now passing it around, and everybody's putting their stamp on it. It must be this, and this thing now has been magnified 100 times. It's going to look like a weird spacecraft. It is going to by default. And hell, we can enlarge any one of your faces 100 times, and you unrecognizable. You will look like a spaceship too. So it's one of those things, I think, is where we are with this. And so whether we use better technology or whether we do something different, I think we just need to take a different approach. We got to take a different approach to how we're going to perceive these things and do that. And I think that's one of the most important factors that we should do. Now, by all means, I'm not telling you, don't go out there and you see a spacecraft and you go do that stuff like they did in Independence Day and put a sign up on the ceiling, they're opening up, and that light comes on, and that's the last light you see. I didn't tell you to do that. I still want you to use your instincts and run, save yourself. I mean, period. It's not worth it. It's not worth it trying to see here if the alien is going to be the nice guy, because I think when they do come and do what they're doing, it's going to be a crazy time. Now, we can talk about all this stuff that we think that's going on in society today in all these other countries. Why are they not breaking this stuff up? How come they're not knocking missiles out of the sky? But yet we see things going. And so, but you know what? I got a story. I talked to a gentleman this past week for about 2 hours. He allegedly says that he has friends with the government. He has people that's inside our government, well-connected people. And he says, Roderick, we are in a simulation. That's what he said. He said, space is not even real. And I said, well, why would you say that? We got all these aerial photographs looking back down on Earth. And, I'm just talking because I can be a skeptic too. And he says, well, have you ever seen a spacecraft go straight up? Why is it when we shoot the rocket, it don't go straight up to space? And I thought about it. And I said, well, because I tried to say, that makes really good sense. And it makes sounds right. But if they're shooting up over here in Florida and the space station is over China, or because it's in orbit, then that rocket is going to have to go that way, right? It's not always sitting right up above, straight ahead, where, you know what, Mars is up here, so not Mars, but let's just go straight up and hit this thing. So, and yeah, we can run the ramification where it goes up, comes down. We can think that through, at some point. So I think it all can turn around to mean something. But I will say that we need to look at it. So what do y'all think? Because like I said, he's saying that he says space is not real. We are in a simulation. Now, I've been doing a lot of reading on David Icke. A lot of reading. I got a whole collection of his books over the last 4 months. And I want to buy all his stuff. He got one new release coming out next month. I can't wait to get it. Have I read all of his stuff? No, I skimmed through it. But he's an adamant pusher of the theory of frequency, that we are in some type of matrix. And sometimes when we meet people, we're meeting a representation where the reptilians are kind of right behind these people. And it's like a puppet-like things that they're able to interact. I don't know. I never been with another person that was a reptilian puppet. And when I hugged them and I looked back, but he said this is why it explains when people say that they see them shape-shifting, or they may see them, and because the matrix shift or has a glitch at some point, then they do this. So I'm not sure, but he says that we are in 100% simulation, same as what Joe Blow is saying. So I think that's interesting. to really think about that are we in some type of simulation and everything else. What do y'all think about that? Have any of you give some thought to being in some type of simulation? Now, if that's the case, not to kind of pull this out, but then that takes us to the Book of Sacred Secrets, because it all talks about all of this stuff. And let me just kind of, it's a page, and I didn't mean to get into this thing. That's why I had it on the ground there. But even when you talk about not flat earth, but it calls flat, everything is frequency, the whole 9 yards. Even when they talk about cosmology, that, the earth signs, the domes, everything is just showing that the world, let me just show you. So it all kind of shows that the world is all in this particular energy dome, no matter what it is. We're in some type of energy dome. And this is where they are saying that this is what's going on, that we are in the matrix. So I think that's kind of interesting to know that. Even here, that I just mentioned that even Freemasons talk about that we're in this thing. And this is why, for some reason, that everything points to the stars. So as below, as above, so below. But everything, this is, so when you see these energy spheres, everything is in some type of sphere, then the possibility that we're in some type of matrix. So I'm just giving you from this thing when it comes down to it, to why we are having this thing. But anyway, maybe some of y'all can learn it, go and get your copy if you want. There's a link in the description that Philly Cat just pushed it up. Nursing said, I read that 50-50 chance that it's a simulation according to science. In fact, I saw a video, and I didn't write down the brother's name. I should have wrote down his name. He was stating that he's some type of mathematician, and when he got down to the code, I forget what he said, but he said that within our system of layers of the way the earth, the design, that he found a code, almost like the Matrix, that it was a code running in the fabric of our existence. And I thought that was really weird. And even if I was a scientist and I discover we're in a fucking, simulation, what do you do? Because what that does do is, how is my life this way and somebody else's life is this way? Who is doing the programming? Who is writing the codes? Now, I say this because I listened to a lot of Jordan Maxwell, and him and David Icke was doing an interview, and he was talking about him being afraid and how he was afraid of, being maybe, people just doing something to him. And he said that he knows there's a higher force at work. I think we all know that, and some protective force. And he said there was a story that they was telling about a guy they was about to burn. I don't know if it was Credo, if I pronounced that right, Muchwa, whatever. Y'all know who I'm talking about over at the Zulu. But I may be butchering his name, but not disrespecting the dude. But he said that there was a time that he was about to get annihilated, and everybody was about to do it, and they heard this voice that said, "Stop." And they said everybody heard it. It was like it just came out of nowhere, and it was like, "Stop," and they stopped. And he said even all of them was kind of profound, like, what just happened here? And then it made me think about hearing voices. What if people that are schizophrenic, or what if somebody's actually talking to them in another realm? What if that really is happening? Yeah, I don't know. If I discover it, I want to know it all, the cheat codes. Yeah, I'm not joking with you on it. So you start thinking about that, and you think about what is going on. How would this work when it gets down to these particular scenarios? So are we in a simulation? And if so, how do we program this thing? And I think it's kind of weird, because if it's that real of a program and you pinch yourself, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that you pinched yourself. Now, I can still think about the Truman Show, and I can think about, the Truman Show and the way he made his discovery, how everybody's watching it. And I even think about King Kong. There was the last King Kong. He was in some type of simulation, and the Great Ape figured that out. He threw a stick and just bust the window out because this ain't real sun, dude. Y'all give me some real sun, And so what do we do? Not what we do, but how do we do it? So how many of you right now, I think I saw a couple of chats, but put in there a 1 if you think we're in a simulation. And then, if you can, bag it up with something. Put an information in why, and here's why, or here's a denial. We're not asking for adamant proof because I just don't think that's possible, but at least you can put us on a rabbit hole of hunt to say this is why you think that we're in a simulation because of this, and that. And from that point, and y'all give a shout out to Anson for getting the book of Sacred Secret. Thank you for supporting the show. It's been most appreciative in that. Okay, so Scott saying that he's a 1. We're in a simulation. Now, Scott, just tell me why you think so. I'm not saying we're not looking for documentation and all that because maybe people just don't have it, right? But why do you think? And then Scott, oh, wait a minute. Sean says that it's a simulation. T says it's a simulation. All right. Taja said it's a simulation. And she says, I've tested it. Well, I would love to hear about that. Jen says, absolutely. Here's why I think deja vu. Okay, I've had that as well. And I also had experiences where I've seen a major glitch in real time. Okay. So Sean says glitches happen, the Mandela effect. There was a time, and I don't know if it was real or not. I don't know if y'all saw that TikTok video that was spreading around one time where the plane would just send in the air, just kind of like sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't even moving, and everybody was like, look at that. Like suspended and just midair. It was just sitting there. And they was like, what's going on? And pretty much. So low key says 1. Nursing the paranormal says 1 because sometimes life just doesn't feel real. Being in a simulation might explain what we call the paranormal. I don't know. And maybe it's a trip because I was talking to a friend of mine out of Houston today, and she was really just going through some stuff, and she just kept saying, why my life is like this? Maybe God wants me to start over. Now, 5 years ago, I would say, yeah, just sit down and pray about it and all that. I was like, I don't know. I'm happy that mine is not like that because I can understand that. And I'm not going to The Secret where a law of attraction comes in because that still was something crazy too. We can talk about that someday. But at the end of the day, where are we at? You know what I'm saying? And why do we think so? And pretty much, and if that's the case, can we reprogram ourselves to do that? Now, I've heard people say, well, Roderick, we're in all these different timelines. You can, shift timelines. And I tried that. I think I told y'all the story of me, when one evening I was out here working on the car and it was running hot, and I decided to put the reservoir bottle and then take the little thing to pull the hose off. And I was already, just really, funds was really masquerading low. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I broke it. I promise you, I closed my eyes. I was trying to I'm in the wrong timeline. I was like, let's move the timeline. Now, my child, my oldest one, whenever she was been in the back, or she'd be over in the couch, and this is, 20 at least 30 years ago. So she would, when you say something to her, and it was almost like she would close her eyes, and to her, she done disappeared. I just thought it was so cute. But then I'm, 25 times 2 plus 4. Okay. And you can figure that out, mathematicians. So being 25 times 2 plus 4, I had a problem outside, and I was like, okay, let me close my eyes and see if I can figure that out. Okay. And I couldn't. I was like, change timeline. This is not happening. Every time I looked at it, the steam was coming out the car. The water was running on the ground, the green water, because I just put some antifreeze in it. And I was distorted. I was like, oh, no, I just can't go through this. I can't take nothing else today. And it didn't work. You're just not a mechanic, is what Astro Anthony. No, I'm not. I've had arguments with the Shiwa about me not being able to, like her brother or her dad can come over and, change part of the transmission and all. I'm like, no, just pay somebody to do it. And I was judged on that. I was really was. She just really ragged me out sometime and not being the mechanic guy that's going to go out there and get under the hood and come back oily and all that. And I'm not saying that maybe I would have wanted to get under there. I just didn't have no interest in trying. Now, so anyway, that's another story. Sean says, I don't know how the Matrix works. We're karma to give us our mistakes with our day-to-day reality. And see, all that stuff is up for interpretation. All of this stuff is up for interpretation because we all can be sitting in this room right here. And we could probably be in four corners of this room. And judging by your vantage point, we are going to probably have a similar story, but yet different based on where we are. But we all seeing the same thing. That's a human error, by the way. Or if it's an error, it's not. But the point I'm trying to make, we don't know. So what somebody saw a glitch could have been, were you high, right? Or somebody saw, something stop. Okay, well, did you eat some, too much sugar this morning? There's so many aspects of doing that. But if we should have enough stories of people. Now, but again, when you get down into these books, like The Sacred Secret, talking about the black cube of Saturn and, 666 and the black cube with the forehead, a painting, all of the mythical stuff to where somebody knows the truth from ascension. And that was one of the biggest things a few years ago. Everybody's telling me you got to prepare for ascension. You got to be ready for ascension. And you got all these different, once again, as above, so below, and internal plane and physical plane. And, and once again, it all just leads down the road. So this talks about the stuff, celestial rulership and celestial energies. It's not normal stuff. It's not normal stuff. But again, study it. This should have been our study guide because we can probably go over these pages, but I would really love to have it. We're going to get our book club back going. I think we got some other people going to help run it. Monica's been really tied up with her school, with the kids. And again, I just thank her 100% for what she's put into that. But what if we had a more of a cosmic conscious inner circle? But I'm not talking about speculation. I'm talking about us going deep, because although these pages are where they are, each one of these things can stand alone. Each little section can stand alone in a conversation for us to learn and want to talk about, from the cell salts. I actually got another book on this. And maybe we need to have our council of groups where we understand this stuff and pretty much. Now, we got some great stuff out there like Jen and a lot of people who've done a lot of research. But I'm just saying, for mind-boggling conversation, I would love to have a retreat and all we went into, not having a guru there, but we are searching for ourselves. We're looking for the information ourselves, and we are making that determination of what it is. And so maybe we can do it. Starseed says weed is strong, but not that strong. Well, it's kind of funny because, once again, the she-wolf used to say, well, her cousin, he was in the military, told her that weed make you smarter. And so, she would smoke it and said, makes you smarter. I have no evidence. And I didn't see no evidence when she was smoking it that, we were able to figure out things a little different. It always went the other way for some reason. But anyway, that's another story. That's not even my story to talk about that. But yeah, I think we should do. So yeah, as y'all know, Courtney and I, and maybe y'all can do some suggestions. We're trying to think of a name where we're going to mix the psychic with conspiracy. So we got to think of a podcast name that me and her is going to do, but we're actually going to do live events. We're going to do live sit-down events. We'll start one in Oklahoma, maybe in Dallas. And it could be intimate. It could be 20, 50, 100 people, 200 people, where we're going to explore things from a mind-boggling place. And so we're working on that, and we got a meeting next week that we would do. Yeah. So a mastermind will be the better word that Monica's put up there. Yeah. Not just this will be a mastermind. and everything else. And this will be where we can go deep and people can think about all that. She says psychic conspiracies. Okay. All right. Psychopiracy. Well, I don't even know how to pronounce the word, Philly Cat. She said psychopiracy or whatever. Cosmic conspiracies. All right. Smarter equals consciousness. Yes, that's not the name, but she just put that up there. But yeah, so who in Dallas? Anybody else in Dallas besides Maya? Well, let me quit asking that question, because every time you ask, I know Sandra's near, so she'll be part of what we're doing. But there's a lot of people out there that, man, I don't know. I am so kind of like crazy, when it comes down to our, folks around here. So we need to look at what's really happening when it comes down to this. But yeah, I mean, what about it? Yeah, Deja Vu was a great movie. I think it had a lot of symbolic meaning to it, to where, but I think the most posing thing was, can men time travel? And that was it. Now, are we in this simulation? And you could probably use that movie as a, a focal point that we could possibly been in some type of simulation, because that's the way they talked about it from there. Ricky said, I'm 4 hours away. Yeah. Not a real word, but I just made it up. Okay. All right. She's so psychic, conspiracy for conspiracy. All right. So Philly Cat made up a word. Interesting. All right. Because she always talk about my pronunciation. So she gets away with making up. And that's what I'm going to start doing, Philly Cat. I'll just make up a word, and then people can't complain about my pronunciation, because I made it up. It's my word. And however I want to pronounce it, it's me. I'm the originator, the creator of it. And so I the one create the tone and the whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I like I said, I've been trying to and wanting to do a meet and greet like forever, forever and a day, and pretty much, but just kind of hanging out a little bit. But anyway, we're going to, and I kind of made the announcement a little bit earlier, we're going to get into symbolism. We're going to get into secret societies and more. I think that's important, especially with what we're up against today. There is a action plan to, cipher out the people, do some stuff that just don't need to be doing, y'all. I promise you, we can look at that. All right. But paranormal got her. You're going to enjoy that stuff, and pretty much there. So, I think it's, yeah, appreciate you supporting. So I think it's really important that I don't know if I want to find out we're in a simulation, because then if I do, what we're going to do about it, and how we're going to approach things, and pretty much there. I just don't really know how I would interpret the fact that we are in some type of simulation. I just don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know if I would go down a rabbit hole and be like, hey man, we're in a simulation and want to break the code. Because what if you just mess something up? What if you mess up your existence? What if you all of a sudden you're not in existence anymore? What do you do? How do you handle that for yourself? Is it something that you can put up with when it comes down to that? And so, all right, so we got the greatness of the lead researcher, Nicole. What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
How's your week?
It was very busy, very hectic.
All right, so that's the workplace stuff, right?
Yeah, that, and my kids are getting ready for school next week, so lots of
I think that's been going on for a lot of people, where
yes.
their kids and all of that stuff. That's really been, because I was talking to Lonnie today, and she just was pooped out. She was like, Roderick, I am so tired this week. I've been getting up at 5 a.m. and everything. And these kids in the school, it's like, you know what? Just leave them there. I was like, why would they even come home? Just leave the kids there. Y'all just leave the kids at school.
See, for me, I have 2 starting new schools. So my youngest is starting kindergarten and my oldest is starting middle school. So they're both a little anxious, and we've been doing lots of orientations and just trying to get prepare them mentally, because it's something new.
Well, you would think they're excited just to get out of the house, right? They'd be like, you know what?
No, they're not.
Okay.
They want to. They're mama's boys, and they just want to stay
I don't
home
miss
with
it.
me.
I don't miss it, Nicole. I don't. I miss my kids being kids. You know, that time, but then now, you know, everybody, all men for, you know, everybody in it for themselves, and you know, you're not getting up and go, and unfortunately and fortunately, I don't have any grandkids. In fact, I thought about the other day, my legacy is going to end with me. Well, my daughters, but they don't have children. That won't be nobody. Nobody's going to have me on their wall, Nicole.
You
And saying my
never,
great.
you never know. You know, one day,
No,
you know,
what?
you could have a grandkid there.
Oh, yeah, well, one of them won't be able to have children, and the other one is not even
Not
breathing.
even thinking about it. Okay.
She's like, I got a boyfriend, and his job is to be my boyfriend and not my baby daddy. Is what she told me. He told me that about 2 weeks ago. I said, girl, but I'm gonna get a grandkid. She said, it's my boyfriend, Dad. His job is to be my boyfriend, not my baby daddy. I was like,
Oh,
oh, okay.
I know that's right. I
I was
know
like,
that's
all right,
right.
then shit. Tell me like it's TIHIE is there. You know what I'm saying?
She has time to decide if she, you know, if she finds somebody that she wants to
Yeah,
have a child with. You can't just, you know, you got to find the right partner.
Well, I mean, I'm too old. You know, I can still make them, but this is not something I want to do. I don't want to be doing that, and you know, but yet for the first time I sat back and thought about my legacy, because you know I got a lot, you know, a lot of stuff we get ready to pop off later on, you know, and you're gonna really be really important to society, and then you were like somebody that, you know, because you hear the stories. My great grandfather, you know, Transformers, my Wiki, your great grandfather discovered the cube, you know, some stuff like that would be important, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about? I think that the hype is down when it comes down to UFOs and stuff. What are your thoughts about that? Because for me, I know you stay tuned with the more of the government stuff. You're into more of the nuts and bolts. But for me, just saying, send me another picture. Somebody send me another picture. I just think that they got a plan, and their plan is to normalize the sightings in the sky. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they have to at this point, because I think that people are smarter than what they give them credit for. I think they just kind of was brushing things off in the past, like, oh, you're seeing swamp gas, you're seeing this, you know. People are not buying that anymore. People are not buying that. People are having experiences. People are talking about their experiences now, whereas before they weren't saying anything. Now
Right.
people are coming out and saying what they experienced. Other people are like co-signing it. They're like, wait, that happened to me, you know, or that happened to somebody I know. Like, this is not something that's a localized thing. This is like something that's happening
Right.
all over the world. So you can't, you know, it's like the cat's out of the bag already. So they gotta try to control the narrative the way that they would. And I've heard, like, you know, different narratives. Like, they're trying to keep it secret because they don't want us to know, you know, what the truth is. The truth is too. I've heard the truth is too scary. You know, I've heard that
Yeah,
side.
but isn't it
And
though?
then,
Because we're moving away from aliens to demons and spirits and all connected now.
but I think that is all in perception. I think that if you perceive something to be negative or evil, then you're going to be afraid. You're going to have that fear. You're going to project that. And I feel like the way to handle this is to come at it with kind of like a clear mind. I'm at the point now where I'm not really looking at it like these are aliens coming from outer space. I'm looking at it now as these are beings that coexist in a universal existence that we also exist in. And there is some sort of, you know, it's like layers to an onion, you
Right.
know. You have different layers, and we're on one layer, they're in another layer.
Right.
Some other beings are in another layer. Maybe the spirit world is in another layer. And and maybe they, in the layer that they're in, they do come from a different planetary system, but maybe that planetary system is layered right on top of ours. And so we are kind of coexisting with each other, but us humankind can't see what is really there because of our physical senses only allow us to see but so much.
But wouldn't that be the plan, though? I've said it before. I've said it that what if we, although some of us seek that knowledge and you want to know what's on the other side, but when you start looking at ancient stories and especially now going to symbols and all that, it's like somebody knew that there was a grave, I'm using the word grave of truth that we needed to be protected from. It's almost like, the few good man, when he says, I want the truth. And he says, you can't handle the truth.
But I think that's a cop-out.
Okay.
I think that we used to know the truth. I feel like we
I'm agree with you on that. Okay.
I feel like we used to know the truth and we lived and coincided with this existence for thousands and thousands of years. Somewhere in our history, we forgot. And then some people that didn't forget were like, we're going to use this to our advantage. We're going to use this. We're going to keep this knowledge for ourselves so we can maintain the control. We can maintain the power. And we're going to take that and run with it for as long as we can. But now the system is breaking down. So it's like, like I said, like peeling one layer off at a time. So more people are starting to be aware. It's not things, we are getting to a level in our consciousness where the old stuff doesn't make sense anymore. And we're not just following the leader. People are not just following
I get
the
what
leader.
you're saying. That we're going to touch on a lot of that in my book. That I think, but the other part of this is, like you said, it's lost in translation, or and then
definitely.
the other part is deliberately done so that people can. And this is the part where the secret societies truly exist. And I think they've done a great job of knowing that. And I'm intrigued the most because here's the problem. The further down, and I'm only scratching the surface because they got more protective stuff than you can think of. But you still look at them, you look at Freemasonry or looking at the Illuminati, they're still just as divided on their sector as humans, because that's why you got all of these different secret societies. They all broke away, and started their own. And so it's like the human side's still there. But back to the ultimate secret is like, so would I feel bad that I open this book, which in here, I mean, it's stuff that we might learn, but you get to look at it a certain way. You go, oh, wait a minute. It's a code, right? And now when your eyes are useless, when your mind is blind, but all of a sudden you can really understand it out of the pictorial sense to what it means.
Right.
But when you do find out what it means, you also find out the inherent consequences of danger of the information. Now, do you become one of them and harness the secret, or protector of the veil now, or the protector of the realm? Now the Walters family is now protecting. You get what I'm saying? We got a new generation. And now you're telling young Nicholas, well, you got to protect this information. Generations. Now you're going to make a lot of money, son. But they just can't. And now he's innocent. Well, mom, well, how come I can't tell Billy Bob across the street, my friend? No, son, you can't tell your buddy this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do we become that? That's all I'm saying.
I think some people do. Some people do become that, and some people don't. And I think it's just a matter of like, if you can be bought. And some people, they can be bought. And there are other people that will not be able to be bought. And then after a certain amount of time, the system is the system breaks down because people are starting to feel the pressure, I believe, of the fact that we are living an existence that doesn't really make sense and it doesn't work anymore. So it's like,
but I mean, are we seeing people? And I know you don't reference this way. I know you really well, but you know how somebody will call you and say, well, no, I'm going to just use real life examples.
Mm-hmm.
I was married long time ago. I was married to the she-wolf. And I will say, babe, could you call a couple of contractors? We need to get, something done to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she will just call two and say, everybody has high prices. And I'll be like, what do you mean everybody? How many did you call? Well, I called two people. That's not everybody. Everybody, make it 10 and we can call it something. So although I hear what you're saying that people are waking up, but is it enough people to move the needle though?
I think it's starting to be.
Okay.
I think we're at the point where it's starting to be. 10 years ago, no. 20 years ago, no. But I think now, there's so much going on in this world now that does not make sense to people. And people are looking for answers. And in various different areas, not just the UFO phenomenon, but it's like these systems that were put in place to keep us in control. Those systems are cracking. And that's why we're seeing so much turmoil all over the world, is because the systems are cracking. And the people who used to, have the iron core fist, like this is, the end all be all, those people, their power is slipping.
I agree with you on that.
Because people are, I mean, I'm not going to say it's gone. It's not gone. But I think the more pressure that gets put on things, the more cracks, the more information that slips out, the more they have to answer to it.
I can go with that. I can go with that because they're still operating off a level of fear, because you're talking a small number controlling billions of people. And all
they want us to be afraid of it.
Well, not us. I think, David Icke says that even like the reptilians and all of them, even though they control, they operate in the ultimate fear more than us, that if they have that, because their numbers are totally different than ours. And we've seen it in enough movies. We've seen it in Mask. You've seen it in movies where the people began to denounce the king because there's no food, or it's the numbers game. I think because he says it. He said they are afraid, even the people that's in control, of the societal people finding out, and then it's like they said, the whatever is running the asylum, right? So it's like they don't want that, so they continue to suppress the information more and more and more just to keep it going or keep it from discovery. But at the same time, what would happen though? What playing field would happen if the whole community knew how to harness the power? Or what happens if there's no money? Would everybody have the same house? Would everybody collectively build a hut for everyone? Oh, well, Roderick, I'm gonna build your hut today. Well, Roderick is bigger than him. I need a bigger hut. Now, does that now causes us to go back to square one because Roderick need more room? Now, or do we go back and make everybody hut bigger? But where I'm going with that, and it's probably a bad analogy, is the fact that
I get what you're saying.
Does the system of equality actually works?
I think that what you're saying, like, it makes complete sense to how we're living right now. But I think it's gonna take a couple of generations of things that need to happen in order for us to let that mindset go. I think right now there's a lot of stigmas that come along with, everybody should be equal. People start talking about socialism and all this other stuff. And, it's not even about that. It's about sustainability and our future. And the way that we are operating now is not sustainable for our future.
Well, but I think, and give a shout out to Charles for the contribution to Cash Out.
What's up, Charles? Woo!
Yeah, y'all give a shout out. And let me put it on the screen because it is we haven't got a lot of, I think we did. A lot of y'all helped out, but we're still there. We're still where we are. So I'll put it up on the screen. If you find any value in the show tonight, you want to cash out, please go ahead and do that. But where I'm going with this, Nicole, is it's like they know that our life expectancy is not like theirs. And I think the plan is just let this generation die off and we can just start the new story, because although they're living for thousands of years, we only live in 80 to 120. In 3 or 4 generations, it's forgotten. They can wipe out the message, or like we just talking about a while ago, it's lost in translation, So, yeah.
But maybe that's not what they want. Maybe that's not what these beings want. Maybe that's what these humans want that are in control. Maybe they're the ones and not the beings themselves,
right.
Because they've always existed. I feel like they've seen us grow and change over the times, especially these beings that are ancient. And I think that they, are, I wouldn't say they don't care, because I feel like they are somehow related to us. I feel like all these humanoid beings that we're seeing are all some kind of version of us in a different dimension.
But then they say this, that like the Greys, and remember the purpose of them was coming because they didn't possess the empathy that a human did, and they wanted to get that experience, right? Somehow we were born with this willingness to kill because the reptilian, and if you think about all of these beings had this animalistic gene, or then we know in the wild they just breeding and raising them, and you now fend for yourself. So they never developed. So in the wild, except for elephants, I think, and maybe a couple other species, maybe the lion and the pride, when that kid grew up, you get I'm gonna eat you up if you don't leave, the king lion or whatever. So if they was carrying on animalistic DNA traits, why would they care? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't hear that there's some other higher forces or angelic angels or something else that's fighting against them. So what not David Icke, but not Jim, but Jordan Maxwell talks about, there is a war up there. There is a war of angels and demons that are fighting or were fighting. In fact, remember, I don't know, did you send me the information, but wasn't it a month ago that they found the remnants in one of these countries now that the giants and angels was actually fighting there?
Yeah, some kind of remnants of some kind of wars or something that took place. And I think that the war, that has been spoken about, I think that that's also, like, I've heard a lot of psychic mediums talk about this, and the channelers talk about this, that there was some kind of negative force or energy that entered into our realm that caused fear, that causes anger, hatred, all these ways that humanity has adopted. And that force is still here. And it didn't used to be here thousands of years ago, but it came here, is here, and it's some sort of, collective energy or entity that causes us to have these feelings, these emotions, and it's controlling people in that way. And so the war is that we have to beat this negative energy, this negative force that sits on top of us. And the only way to beat that is by creating enough of the opposite force, which is love.
Right?
So pushing more love out into the universe, pushing more love, onto humankind, treating our planet better, treating our, fellow Earth inhabitants, our animals and wildlife, our plant life. All these things have life of a life force, and we need to respect them more. And I think this is why, if you go back to so many indigenous communities around the world, they had that respect for the earth and the other creatures, and they were true stewards of the earth. They took care of the animals, they took care of the environment, they respected it, and we don't do that anymore.
Well, I think if you, but then on the reptilian side of things, they feed off that negative or bad energy. So it's like, well, while one may be creating this, the other one's saying this is why they want to create the wars, and they feed
some
off of it.
reptilians,
Yeah,
because they say not all reptilians are negative beings. That is not really just the reptilians that are doing this. Is that there may have been a faction of reptilians that were that way, but not all the reptilians want this negative, have this negative energy.
I believe you, because I think when you start thinking about like this book here is not my book, but it's one that I bought that I'm studying. I think y'all can kind of see this. Now, this one is more on symbolism, but it has all the elements of metal, animals, life. So it teaches more of this, of everything that's walking around has a meaning, from hair to herbs and spices. We might be take this ginger for this, but it actually have an ancient symbolism to it, not remedy. Every flower has meaning because it's like everything was built. All these plants, they all have a meaning, not just because what we think, okay, you're going to take that herb for or something. So it kind of goes within it, what you're saying. But this is this thing is hard to find. It's real rare. You can't get it.
And when we consume that, when we consume them, that energy goes into us.
Yeah.
That energy. And that's why, it's important to eat healthy, because the energy that comes from the fruit and the vegetables and, all the other things that we eat is going into our bodies. And that's why a lot of people have health problems.
Yeah. Well, whenever I think,
me too. I've had my fair share of unhealthy eating.
And it's like, okay. And I don't know. We think about all of the challenges of and who's going to protect us. And I was reading some stuff that even when Obama's, when they was doing a Let's Move campaign, Michelle and Beyonce and all of this stuff. And the White House didn't eat food from the normal chain supply. They had their own place where they got food, not because it was special being delivered. They just did not eat anything from the nation's supply chain, so to speak. And it's like, oh, well, so knowing the secret, we're going to try to get people to fight obesity unbeknownst to what's really happening, because we have access to this information. And it's almost like the unsung heroes when it comes to this. But I have not heard that there is a set of reptilians that are good. I heard they all, now, over the years, you most of the people in the Illuminati, they all supposedly have some reptilian DNA. And in fact, the way David Icke points about it goes all the way back to Africa. It goes all the way back. The reptilians is the controlling race, although we talk about all these other things. And so back to what you said too, I think that they're interdimensional. Now I'm starting to believe that. And the guy that I met, he says, well, they're here. So, and then when I start thinking about symbols and when I created my sigil and all that, and I start thinking about water and all of those things, it makes sense to why water was so mythological. If the word I'm looking for, but water,
mythological.
Yeah. And because it carried what they call it had access to the underworld, but it's the place that mankind can't go. literally, without we can't go walk in the water and live. I'm just saying, if
right,
we without an apparatus or something, but technically speaking, but then there's life there. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, and in deeper places that we don't know, and of course the fish has access to it. So, having said that, then that's when you start thinking, why don't we go there? You know, we spend so much money saying we're going to space. We spend no technology of saying, let's go see what's at the bottom of the ocean. And we don't even know. We only explore 4% of the Earth's ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because we know not to go there?
I think they used to, I think we used to have a connection with the ocean that was really special and unique. But now, you know, unless you're in like these indigenous communities that like depend on the ocean and they have respect for the ocean, and you see these people that can like swim and hold their breath for 15 minutes, and you know, they very adaptable to life in the water and around the water, whereas we are not like that anymore. Most of us can barely hold our breath for 30 seconds. But I think that it's just that we are out of tune with nature, period, because we depend so much on technology. Like if technology fell apart today, like people don't know how to hunt, they don't know how to fish, they don't know how to like find plants that are edible that they can live and survive on. Like indigenous communities, they know this stuff, and that's why it seems like whenever there is a major catastrophe, the indigenous communities always come out on top. They're the ones that survive, they're the ones that keep going. It's because they know how to survive, they know how to live on very little and stretch it. And so I just think that we are feeling the pressure of being disconnected. And these interdimensional beings that are connected are trying to maybe egg us on, you know, like, you need to come back or your society is going to crash again.
But why have 1,000-year plan when you just pop your behind up and just say, hey, I'm here from the other side. Y'all need to get your act together and do this. Why? It makes sense when Men in Black said, you know, Will Smith was asking Kay, and he says, you know, why not just tell people? And he says, well, he said, a person can handle it. He said, but people are dumb and stupid. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they feel that way. Maybe we can tell one or two. Now, don't get me wrong. We got some things in the mind that's incredible, you know, and what will we do? But if you want to make the most significant change, then you do a reveal, period. And then it's end of story.
Yeah, and you have to tell the greatest, like, I feel like a lot of people that have the secrets are not our greatest minds, you know, and I feel like if you have the greatest minds out there that have this information, they will know how to disseminate it in a way to the masses that will have not as an extreme effect as just like ripping a Band-Aid off and like, interdimensional beings are everywhere, you know, because the thing.
Yeah, but if I came from somewhere else and I said, well, how do I say this, that this is a simulation to everybody and make sure they understand? I would just call a press conference, say, man, this shit ain't real. And that's universal language.
And then tell us what is real and explain what it is. Because I mean, the thing is that we're still here. We still exist. We still are living life in day to day. So if you tell us the truth that we're in a simulation or that interdimensional beings live along beside us, they've been living along beside us. So it's not like once you know the information, everything is gonna like change. Like you're gonna start seeing beings walking around, you know, that's not gonna change.
I read the book on theological prophecy, and the alien or whatever her name was, she said exactly that though. She said the reason people don't see UFOs and all that because they don't believe. And it made me think about when I get calls from people who say, man, I see them all the time. I see them all the time. And I never thought people who said that were crazy or nothing. But I am now convinced that the reason they are not making this up, because obviously they have now set their frequency, their vibration, their mind to be able to decode and see, while most of us just still won't accept it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, and I think that's the key. Like you have to raise your frequency as an individual to experience these things, because we cannot naturally experience them in our physical bodies. We have to learn how to open our third eyes again, because we don't remember how to do that. And so some people are born with being able to do it naturally, but the rest of us, we got to learn how to do it. That way we can see beyond the simulation. Right now, we can't see beyond the simulation. Some people are seeing UFOs. Some people are having, experiences with beings. They're seeing stuff where the majority of us aren't. But if you go into a deep meditative state, and you practice this, you can open your third eye. You can see and be in contact with, the things beyond the veil. I have I can personally say that I have done that. It's not consistent. I can't just let me go and jump over there and see what's going on. But there's times where I have, and I've gotten messages from the other side, and I know that it's not something that I thought in my mind. I know it's something that was put into my mind. So I think you just have to, it takes some training. It takes some time. Like we've forgotten it, and we've been told that that's just a part of your imagination. That's just a dream. That's just you're just imagining things. When you've been told that, especially in your childhood, if you're having experiences, and then you're being told that it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, you're just gonna not believe it. And eventually you're gonna block it out. But when you start to retrain your mind how to see these things again, then you will start to see them. It just takes time. And it's going to be different for every individual, because everybody's on their own path.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely, it was one of my reasons of bringing my content down, where I didn't get into a lot of nuts and bolts, because I think if you could just give people enough information they can read, see, hear, whatever, to awaken their curiosity to the possibility of what they think they see, then they'll go the other way and begin to make the turn. And I was talking to a friend of mine today. He was trying, man, how do he convince his wife? And no, he was like, he was talking about consciousness to another brother. And I said, well, don't do it. I said, because if he tells his wife to look at it and the teacher, the student's not ready, not only is she going to condemn what she's learning, and then she's going to condemn your friendship. She's going to prevent her husband from hanging around with you. And then when he needs to get away and just want to go hang out with his buddy. So I wouldn't suggest it. Yeah.
Or she could secretly be having those thoughts on herself.
There you go.
And you could let her know that it's comfortable for her to talk about it. See, and that's what I think a lot of people are. I think there's more people that are curious but don't want to say anything, because they're like, people are going to think I'm crazy if I say this. I had this experience, or I had this dream, and then it actually happened in real life. People are they just keep their mouths closed. They go to work every day. They do their job. They just keep doing their day-to-day, take care of their families, because what they're seeing and experiencing doesn't have an effect on their daily, on their day-to-day. So they don't know what to do with that information. Don't know what to do with it. But when other people start talking about it, then people start, kind of slowly being like, oh, wait a minute. What did you say? What are you talking about? And then they're listening. And then one day they come out and say, I had this weird thing happen to me. And then they tell you. And then that's what opens people. I think some people are afraid, and you're going to have those people that are afraid and that's not going to want to talk about it. But other people, most people, I think, are somewhere in the middle.
Well, I mean, where are you at?
I'm definitely like way on the far end.
Where your husband at though?
He is, I think he's open to the fact that there is, like he's super, he was raised Christian in church and the grandson of a preacher. So he has very strong Christian beliefs and values. He doesn't believe in aliens, but he does believe in secrets that the government has and technology that they have. And he does believe in things like that. He does believe in the afterlife, obviously. And he does believe that people that have passed on can communicate with us in dreams and, he believes in the spiritual side.
Okay. So I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. We're in the middle of this situation. You're and your family. Mm-hmm. It's a good situation, by the way. Way down on this side, there's that red light. There's like a portal, but it's a light. And people are saying, come on to the light. Jesus is over here. And on this side, it's like talking about coming into consciousness. Who wins that? When you and him saying, no, I'm going to the blue light. He says, no, let's go to the red light. Jesus is down there. And you go, no, the portal of consciousness is down this way. How would you persuade him, or would he persuade you? And then I'm sure Nicholas is going like, Mom, I'm going both. I'm gonna go see I'll go down here, check this out for y'all, and I'm gonna go down here and check this out for y'all, and I'll let y'all know. Y'all can keep talking.
See, for me,
but you get what I'm saying? I'm just making something up, but you get what I'm saying.
No. But for me, either way is a win-win because the Christ consciousness is real. So
you just we're gonna vote for you instead of Kamala. All right. So.
But that energy that lived. That's real. That's the love. That's the energy of love. That's the energy of
you just
love.
Got my vote. Oh my
God. Stop. But I'm just saying, like it's all related. Right. People just put the cap on it as this religion or that religion or whatever religion don't matter. It's all consciousness. It's all consciousness.
Okay, well now that makes sense. That makes sense that what you're saying is, and what I'm thinking I'm interpreting now is that it's all conscious that people just been told it was Jesus and not knowing. So you're going to walk through that hole and you're going to be shocked.
We still going to be at the same
where Jesus
spot.
at, but they'll be like, where Jesus at? But like, well,
and Jesus
about
that, there.
About that part, So I get what you're saying.
There, but he probably ain't going to be the only one there. So that's all I'm saying. Because he was a human being just like we are. So he just came with a message. He had a stronger connection to consciousness that we, the average person has. Like a medium or like a psychic where they have like natural intuition,
Right.
And those people are closely connected to consciousness and the other side. But what doesn't mean that because we are not as connected that it doesn't exist. It's there for us to tap into. We have to learn how to tap into it.
I'm only grinning because I have a dear friend of mine. He went to, and I'm not going to tell his story. I mean, who he is, but he went to a psychic today for the first time. And he asked me before, what about Courtney, the psychic? And I told him she's beautiful. I mean, she's my sister and she's on point. And he came back with this experience that just blew him away. It was almost scary to him, but it was, and we're talking about spirits and stuff. And one of the most touching things, he told me a story of a childhood friend and what happened. And the lady pinpointed and said, the spirit is here. He's been following you all this time. You know, he's at a familiar territory. But what she also said was, in this building and where you are, you have all of these spirits. He's like, dude, I'm finna pack up. I'm finna move my cheese. I said, but she told him to get some sage. We got Rob G in the house. What's going on, Rob?
Rob.
Yeah. And well, we got two Robs in there, Audio Rob and Rob G.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I'm just gonna get out of my lease. He like, the hell with it. But and I didn't blame him. I was like, dude, I mean, but could you imagine though? But one of the suggestions I made to him, because he was excited and he shared, I said, well, just make sure you don't share with people of influence in your family that had influence on you, because just like the baby elephant, you know, a lot of people don't know the circus. They actually have a plan. They do. When they take these baby elephants, they tie them up to a rope on their legs. And the baby elephant is fighting this thing 24/7, 12, 365 plus OT. Just know he's going to break it. Almost like that Kunta Kinte thing in Roots.
Yeah.
When I saw it for the first time, I just knew he was going to break the chains and stuff, because he was, I'm like, he's going to get away. And shit, what happened? A whole generation. So the baby elephant can't break it, right? And so, but when it gets to be an adult at the circus, they can just tie them up with a little rope. And when they just tug on it, they just mentally trained that they can't break it. So I told him, I said, be careful, because I don't want you to go back and tell your experience to somebody not only who have influence over you, and they can go back and trigger, you don't even know it, but that implant of hierarchy and bring you back into that place of non-belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and
that can happen.
Yeah. And so I think that where I'm going with that, I think that happens to society, because people get a dose of content. I think everybody out here has done experience some type of dream, some type of something that have gave them indications that there's more than meets the eye.
Yes.
But because they go and try to tell this experience to someone else, and the person taint them right back like, no, that ain't happened.
That's why people don't say things.
Were you smoking last night? Like, yeah, I had some ayahuasca. Well, I ain't never had none of that. But I had a few joints. But like, well, then that's what happened. And then always too, that was something that I was concerned with, because everybody I knew would say, okay, they go to these places and they get this ayahuasca and they have this out of body experience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to get high to do that.
But it's not for certain, but it's
so
not
you
about
already done
getting
it? You already done it?
I have not, but
you
I
waiting to do
have
it too, but you'll do it.
thought about it. I have thought about something that I would try, because then the reason why is because it's not about it's not like you're getting high. What you're when you take those are I look at those more as like potions.
Look, Sonya says she want to get high. All y'all want to get high with that stuff.
They're mostly like potions that, like shamans used to drink this so they could go into the other dimension and get messages and bring it back to their people, and that's what it was about. It wasn't about like taking it, ooh, I'm high. Ooh, it's not that. It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. So it's not like, doing hard drugs. This is a chemical that exists in nature that you're consuming, and when you consume it, it allows you to see into another realm.
But how do you know? Your mind is under influence in what we think. I mean, that can happen now. You drink enough alcohol. Or you go take some helium or in a balloon and, or oxygen, whatever. All that can take the mind into a whole nother weird place and everything else. And, how do we know?
You can, but I think it's different. I think it's different levels.
Rob said the weed be letting you know.
I think it's different. I just think that there's different levels of it. That's all I'm saying. And I think that like the more natural the substance you consume, the more it brings you in tune with nature. So like not these chemical drugs that people are making and taking and they're using them to get high. This is
Well,
more of like a spiritual connection with nature and these plants that they're using to consume. I mean, these plants are key ingredients in potions that people have been taking for thousands and thousands of years.
Well, I don't know, because I think you remember it was like 2 or 3, almost 3 years ago on my birthday. I was driving Uber and I picked up a lady and she from the airport, and she had me stop at this weird shop way out there in Deep L or Ellum or whatever. Not Deep Ellum, but way up north here in Dallas area. And so I told her at that time, I don't know, damn, now I think about it, I was having knee pain 3 years ago, you know. So I told her my knee was hurting, and she gave me this caramel and a couple of gummies. That was for the first time I ever even heard, you know. I was like, yeah. She said, well, just take it. And so I took the whole piece. It was THC, now that I think about it, like something, whatever, and then some energy drinks. That shit put me in a hospital. I still got the photos. I can show y'all. It's still on my phone when I was in the ambulance.
Overdosed.
And I was sitting there, my heart was beating. I was at the AutoZone. I told the people, I said something about my car. I remember that, but see, it's so funny. I remember, but I don't remember. He says, I was looking at my car and it was just pulsating, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, and I was like, it's right there. And I end up later on just telling him to come, you know, he came back. The dude came out to smoke a cigarette. I was laying back in the seat and I thought I was going to die. I was breathing. And I said, man, can you call 911? Now, when I got to the hospital, they laughing. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it's funny because I kept saying I took some CBD. That's all I thought it was. He said, no, you took some more than CBD.
Right.
And I remember the lady in the ambulance. But she kept saying I'm lucky because, you know, the reaction, because I took the whole chunk and some. Because I was like, shit, it tastes good. So it was kind of weird because I keep it as a memory. So anyway, I'm sitting here. I'll never forget. I'm in the ambulance and the lady was talking and the damn machine went beep, scared me to death. I said, oh, I done died. Now, that's the second time. I said, I done died. And she said, Mr. Mark, just calm down. She said, this is one of the sounds you will never hear because you will be dead.
Right. How you hear it?
She said, I can assure you, if you heard it, you're still alive. She kept saying, I promise you that, no matter what. I just want you to know, if you heard this, you are still alive. You can best believe it.
No,
she said, I've been here many times. When that thing go off, they do not hear it.
No, they do not.
And so I'm trying to find. I'm gonna show y'all now. I was in an ambulance. I keep it in my phone as a freaking reminder of all of that, man. And when people talk about let's get high, I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it. I don't trust that crap.
When people do ayahuasca, they have to go through a whole ritual.
This is in 2022. Y'all can probably see it. Okay, so that's me in a hospital, but here's me in an ambulance. I'm gonna try to play it, and I'm just sitting there feeling with my legs. Right, y'all can see my shoes, but so that's me, right? And you hear that beeping, so they're working on me. And when that shit went beep, I jumped up. I was like, I'm dead. She said, no. If you heard that, it's a little.
You hear that?
You're not dead. You won't hear it if you're dead.
Oh wow, yeah. See, but when they do
nursing and paranormal say goodbye, good night.
Good night.
Hey, we can talk tomorrow, or you want to wait till next week? Nursing the paranormal. Well, anyway, she'll let me know. But anyway, I was freaking out, man. And when I was walking to the car, the ground was moving. I was trying to step slow, but the whole ground
moving. The ground wasn't moving.
The ground wasn't under me, and I didn't know what was going on, and it was just so unreal. It was so unreal.
He jumped up dead.
Man, I'm like, nah. Now I've had that experience when I was shot. That I thought I died. You know.
that's a real.
Yeah. And I was 20 years old, and
did you have a near-death experience?
Well, I was shot, and it was just, and this is how our lives are really, really attached, because my daughter was just 1, and the minute at the time that I was shot, I'm on this side of town, she just profusely was just crying, and they had to rush her to the hospital. We're on the same.
She was like, something's wrong with my daddy.
We're on the same freaking highway going to the hospital. Dad is in the ambulance and they over here, and we end up in the same hospital. She was 2 floors down. I was up, going through this whole, and they didn't know what was going on with her, the doctors, anything else. But when I woke, I'm under the operation table, and they had me blindfolded, and then they had these 6,000 watt lights. So I thought I went to heaven.
You was like, you thought you were dead again?
I said, damn, well, not again. This was the first one. So I said, but this other one, I was high. I was in the hospital. So I woke up and I was like, I don't fucked up and died. That's exactly what I said. But all of a sudden I start choking, crazy choking. I couldn't breathe because I was on a ventilator.
I was gonna say, did they have a tube?
And that thing was popping, man. And I'm sucking, and I'm strapped to the bed. I was bored. Yeah. It was the biggest fight I ever had. I'm talking. I now remind me of the damn Kunta Kinte. I thought I was gonna break the chains. And then finally, this voice, which, see, I can make it all energetic now, but it was really human. And she put her hand on my chest and she said, calm down, listen to it. Just listen. And when it would say something, she would push my chest. She said, now breathe, listen. So every time it went, I will know, because I was taking a breath while I was sucking air out. I was trying to breathe.
Okay.
So I had to then get to the rhythm of it pumping air, and then I'm breathing. And then when it's sucking, I'm not trying to breathe because it is sucking air, period, right? But that was the most profound moment at that point. So I don't think I had a near death.
Scary.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary. So I was like, okay. Somebody said I've been a subscriber for 4 months and I love the topics of your shows. Keep good. Well, let me tell you, Star Child.
Thanks, Star Child.
We're getting ready to go into symbolism, y'all. I told y'all. We're getting ready to go symbolism, secret societies, and old time religion and some stuff. I've been studying.
The truth is in the symbols.
It's in the symbol. I'm not going to reveal, but I have my own magic symbol, and it works. And I've been wearing my thing with my protection, but it's real. The truth is in there. We're going to go into it deep. You know, I've been studying, and then officially, that's our route, because I think it's more important than just the alien stuff. This symbolism is it's the ancient, not ancient, but it's actually, I can't even know how to put it, but it's the part of mankind. All of us is connected to that, and we're disconnected from it because before language was symbols, period.
Yeah. Yes.
And in symbols is magic. Okay. Which is why secret society and corporate America and all these people, the older companies, not these new ones. These new ones are calling brand experts and making new logos with brands because it just looks good. But these jokers back in the day, Walt Disney and 7-Up and all these corporate companies and, Shell, they knew the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. But for us, it is the language. It is the part of every human. And when people start going there, it's going to activate something totally. My mind has been different, my studying habits, my workloads, but like I said, I start reading the most simplest thing. And I think I've been said it before. Like, you think about the question mark that we all put, which Monica probably said, okay, tell the kids, this is a question. May I go to the bathroom? Question mark. Well, that was an ancient symbol. We as mankind over the years turned it into a question mark. But when it was actually made, it's still the dot, the bindu, the dot had its own meaning. But the old part of this was it still meant question, but it meant the answer is within yourself. That we have the answers, and that's no different than the message of there's a God in all of us, right? Or there's all of these
had
things.
A deeper meaning than just asking a question.
Right. It means that you don't have to, and go there, which is why, you know, we will present some stuff next week that's going to blow everybody away. Well, maybe 2 weeks. I'm working tonight. I'm gonna work till 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And the great part about it is all week, you know, we probably text and I talked online a little bit, but I don't have any conversations, you know. And it's kind of different because I was going to allude to that earlier. So when Miami, you in this cluster of people who are part of the conscious community. Mm-hmm. And so everywhere I went, you know, hey, Roderick, I appreciate you. And I get back home, I walk to the grocery store, and don't nobody say nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody say a word. I'm at the gas station and, you know, I got trophies. I'm, you know, working on big deals and books, and, you know, but they don't know me, mm-hmm. you know, and everything else. And so, but yes, it's time for us to look within. I don't even know why I brought that up. Maybe I was just trying to vent. But
it makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we look in. So, but there are so many symbols out there. Jen says she out. All right, Jen. So there's so many symbols out there that we, in the basics of symbols, whether it's the circle, whether it's the triangles, whether it's just the square, was probably one of the most profound. Da Vinci and them knew that. And you know, your triangles, your slashes, and then they start making a combination of these things, and they all had different meanings and spells and activated, and it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
So like now, I've learned to withstand fire. I can put my hand here and don't be burnt. I couldn't do this before. It's all mental.
Is that a real candle?
No, it's just a flashlight.
No, I knew it.
Can you imagine a guru? That's how they do that shit, right? You know what I'm saying? They do it. No, it's just fucking battery. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I have and I'm sure somebody in the audience like, what? You know?
I knew it. I was like, that flame ain't moving.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? See 6 months ago, she would have went with me. She would have been, and then text me tomorrow. You know that wasn't no damn real candle, right? And now she's like, that we got to break the truth now, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. So all of the fucking things not real. They just look, and they flicker though. I thought it was so cool, you know. And you get them from Amazon, they're real cheap. And now I just put them in the room.
Really nice ones.
Yeah, I put them in a room now when I want to meditate. I just flick the switch and let them just blink and stuff, and it's the same mental ambiance.
Do you meditate in the dark? I can't meditate in the dark. Well, I can't.
And then I fall asleep. But now,
now
I'm getting better because I can quiet my mind a little better. But I was working on, like I said, some other tools and things, and because of the Conscious Award and all of the energy and stuff behind it, I just shut it down because I couldn't get my mind to go into the space.
Sometimes it's hard if you have.
I was learning image, from the CIA, you know, the Hemi Institute and stuff, or not Hemi Institute, but that too, and then the Monroe Institute. So I have both actual programs, and one is just all about frequencies, and it's kind of crazy because everything is activated from frequencies.
Yeah, and sound.
It really is. So the sound.
Sometimes before I meditate, I use my sound bowl. Or I will listen to, while I'm meditating, I will listen to like frequency music, and do my deep breathing, and then eventually the images start rolling in.
Yeah, I used to use Brain Tap too, Philly. I used to love his stuff. I used to love the music when it started, ding, 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 and then you got the dual voices, single voices, and the app. But somehow it's just more or less you hear it, and then it teaches you how to. The greatest part, which is kind of funny because it start playing stuff to you, and it's at a high rate of speed, and you'll be surprised. You hearing stuff, and you are hearing it just as fast as it was if they're talking regular speed. It's like our brains can process that. Which makes sense. Because Lonnie, she just talk all fast. These people, the young, you know. But you reading that, it's teaching me how you just listen. Now I can turn a video up to 3 times X, get through it as quicker than I used to, and hear it just as though they're talking normal. But it is just, you know.
For me, it depends on what the content is. Because if the content is very deep, then I have to slow it down because I need time to process. So like I'm reading a book, actually the book that Tom DeLonge wrote, Secret Machines, and there's a lot of like
Girl,
stuff in that.
speaking of
And
something, I'm gonna show you something.
that
Go
I
ahead.
have to, there's a lot of like information in that book. So I have to like sometimes like read, like, well, I listen to it on audiobook. So I listen and then I had to like stop after a while because I'm like, okay, that was a lot of information to process. I need to process this before I can like continue on to read. So sometimes I have to do that. I'll like listen to it for maybe an hour and then like come back to it like 2 or 3 days later, listen to it again, to continue and so on and so forth.
I'm trying to show you something that's gonna trip you out. Let me make sure I still have it. We was chatting about it the other day. And actually I need to warn everybody and say, hey, be careful. So anyway, this is on Amazon and it is selling right now as a fucking bestseller.
It's not out yet though.
I know, but people are buying it because somebody else
Oh
bought
yes,
this.
you can pre-order it. Yes.
No, it's a fucking journal. It's a fucking, it's not even a book. It's a journal. It's just a blank journal. I know, and people are buying it. It's the bestseller. He was like, man, I got screwed.
That's why now I get it.
Yeah.
That's why on
and it
X,
says it real print right
like,
there, journal, but it's
on
X,
like, he was telling people this is the only link to purchasing the book. Oh wow, because it doesn't get released until I think like August 26th or something like that.
And when you open it, it's just blank paper.
Wow, that's
on the
sad.
On the front, it says notebook right there. Notebook, real small letters.
But
though.
His name is on that, so he can sue whoever is selling that, right?
Whoever is gonna make some money and this a fucking peer. I'm sure people are gonna return it back to Amazon, but I ordered one just for a joke. It's funny. Now I'm probably spreading everybody that's gonna get one because it's funny. I just thought in trying times, people can come up with some crazy good ideas, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel bad for him because there's been so much hype over this book, and then somebody leaked it over in the UK. Countries.
Yeah.
Now there's people putting out, false links to journals, and I'm just like, okay. From what I've heard from what was leaked, the book has a lot of good information. Like, it's just a matter of, do you believe, do you buy into what he's putting out there? But I think that I'm open to see whatever he has to say. Because for me, I'm the type of person that likes to read different sources of information and see how they tie in together, because I feel like there might not be 100% truth in everything, but there are commonalities, and those commonalities are what leads to the truth.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I mean that's why when I one of the parts of Project Black, when I was speaking at the event, and people was like, "Well, why?" And I was like, "Listen, if you look at this whole phenomena as a pie, and now you got a section of the pie is missing, how are you going to walk around saying what's the whole pie tastes like?"
Yeah.
And so we need to get information from everywhere.
Yeah. And, like you said, it's in the symbols, it's in the experiences, it's in the nuts and bolts, it's in the consciousness connection, it's in the spirituality connection. There's a piece of it in every different aspect that all connects to the whole.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you on that 100%. I just think it's pretty much from there. I don't know. I'm still at the point when you wasn't here. I was just telling everybody that I'm been in this UFO stuff a long time, and I used to be really excited. Somebody said, "Roderick, we got a picture. Check this out. Zoom it up." And and you zoom it up, and everybody's passing around. When Rob and I would, check this picture out. You take it. I'm just not there no more. I'm not there with the fact that, somebody's going to send me a bunch of pictures of something flying in the sky. And then when you zoom it in, everybody's zooming in, it looks like a spaceship. Hell, it looks like an alien in the window. Once you done brought it up from this microscopic level to this dots. Oh, maybe it's a little bit of orb. Okay, we all know what the drones and stuff. They got drones now faking the UFO look. Yeah, there's so many stuff. Fakes. And I'm like,
AI.
I just want to see the alien. I want to see the praying mantis 8 foot tall and ask them how the fuck did you got this plane?
That's why you
that. You know what I'm saying? How did you do that? That's what I'm waiting on.
It's like once you see so many, you start to know what that like. Okay, this is fake. Like, there's no way this is real. Like, I have my brother will send me like tons of pictures of like weird stuff, and I'm like, that's AI. All of that is AI. None of that is real.
Well, now and we can get into AI a little bit. It is so scary, and not in a negative sense, that every picture I'm getting on Facebook from people that I knew, it's like they're giving you this fake picture of what they think they should be looking like.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man. And it's that movie Surrogates that Bruce Willis played in, where they all would be laying in their little modules, but their surrogate is outside.
It's out there. I remember that.
And at the end of the day, his ex-wife was dying.
His wife, he wanted his wife to come out of there because he was like, I just want you to be who you are.
And when she came out, she was dying, right? Her skin
she was like, she wasn't dying, but she was just like aged, and she was older.
Okay. So
she was
like and that's what we are
normal
now.
Person.
Yeah, I thought she was dying or something. Yeah.
No, she wasn't dying. She was just older, and she was, her skin was real pale because she spent all that time in the module. She didn't live in real life. Like, she was walking around in that, like AI robot body that was like a perfect version of herself. That was like forever young and And once that whole system shut down, everybody had to be who they were. They had to be themselves. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think it's like fun to play around with, but I think once people start relying on it to like this, I got to put my best foot forward, so I have to use filters 24/7. I think that can be, detrimental to your mental health. Because then you're not accepting yourself for who you are and what you look like in real life. So you're putting forth this like persona that's not really who you are. But I think that it's fun to play around with sometimes, sure. But I think it's not like, as long as you're not dependent on it, I think it's okay. But there's a limit to everything.
Yeah. I think it's but it's that other part where people are just beginning to, rely on it. I think it's interesting, especially with that new movie called Afraid. I can't wait to see that one.
I don't know. Boy, I must have missed this one.
It's a new movie called Afraid, where the in the word afraid is AI. Where the AI, they put this AI system in this people's home, and she started to, protect the family. And she was like, "Oh, I ordered that for you." And they're like, "Damn! Oh, I made that for." And then it started falling over the kids, and started getting the kids like, "Oh,
it was like, I am your mother," or something like that.
Just think of me as a second mom. That's what she said at first.
Yeah, I was like,
and then it just took over, and the guy like, "No, listen, we got to do something about this." So,
I don't. Yeah, I think that, to me, that is like too far. I don't want that level of AI. I would I agree with the use of AI for like people using it for like problem solving and like in mathematical equations and like coming up with different ways to cure diseases and things, like things that really help benefit mankind. But like, when you think about like using it to do something that replaces what a human being would do, I think that's when you start crossing into like the the scary unknown, because now you're making a technology that emulates us, and we don't fully understand consciousness ourselves. So how do we know whether or not this creation that we're creating gains its own sort of consciousness? And then is it right or wrong to terminate that consciousness? You know, so there was a movie about that with Robin Williams. I don't remember. It was like Bicentennial Man or something like that.
This one's
no, this is an older movie.
Okay, yeah, this one is like she just have eyes. She's not there.
No, she's not there. She's
just like a camera's everywhere.
Program, right? Yeah. She's a program in the house. But no, Bicentennial Man, he was like an actual like robot that was in the house that was serving people. And they kept upgrading him to the point where he actually looked like a human and he lived. And they actually were like, we now classify you, like at the very end of the movie, they were like, we now consider you to be a living being. Like they gave him some sort of like human like stamp of living. And then eventually he did die. So it was interesting, but he had like he just kept getting upgraded to his brain was actually like I don't know if it wasn't biological. They didn't make it biological, but it was like so close to our brains, how our brains work, that he was like human. So it was kind of crazy, but it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was a positive view of AI because he was a good person. Like he was an AI, you know, that learned how to become like a good person and what humanity is all about and all that. But it makes you think. Is that we're gonna end up like iRobot when they all like turned against the humans and we're like,
oh yeah, because of the programming.
We're locking you all in the house and you can't leave, or you know, and that's what I imagine. I mean, I try not to think about the Terminator version, but I feel like it would be more like the iRobot scenario.
Yeah, I think it would be like now I just take everything a different level. Like I don't know if I showed you my oversized book.
Yes, nice? I love your book. I love that.
Y'all like that? You know, in the audience, everybody see this?
The binding is really nice.
Yes, the 7 chakras. I got another one that's got the tree of life. And,
is it actually like gemstone?
Yeah,
like
if I turn it this way, you can probably.
I was gonna say it looks textured. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hanging off of there.
Very nice.
Yeah. So what I did was I took the. So that I study it different. So I took the book Sacred Secrets, right? Which is all of that, which everybody been buying, which is good. So I took that book and like I tell everybody, just print it up. And then, I don't know if you can see it here, but so it has these little clips. You open it, it's pretty cool. And then, so I have it all on this vintage paper and it looks so good.
Yeah, it's
when
cool.
I study now, it has a different meaning, you know. So I study it from the vintage,
like the ancient secrets.
Yeah, the ancient secrets, and it just feels so good when I'm flipping through it. You know, it's got the little. And I bought the little paper from Amazon. You know, you can buy a packet of paper for $7-8 and just print it on your printer, and now you have this ancient look. You know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
I like it. I just be like, yeah.
That's nice. That will be like nice to gift someone too, and that like.
You know what?
Really
I thought about offering it, but it's a lot of work, and these things take.
Yeah.
It took forever to come from the other country that made it for me, and it even has the monogram on it, Sacred Secrets, like inscription on here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it has it all
personalized.
Personalized, yes. So, but it's really cool. This one and the other one looks like better. And the other one, I have 3 of them. I have one that's got this moon on it. It's really cool. it's really cool. And so she said Rod done turned the cover into a gauntlet and go around snapping at people thinking he's Theos. It's all good. It's all
It
good.
does remind me of hypnosis.
It's just creativity, you know. I tell people, you know, but anyway, I'm planning on doing Pacific shows off of just one, because you can do one show, a whole show off one little piece of crispy little information, and it all has so deep meaning and everything else. And I've been promising to take it down only because it's the teaching, right? This is where you're going to teach and everything, but it done a little bit enough to help out and keep the lights on a little bit. And I was like, okay, maybe somebody still want it, but I am planning to
good information to have.
Yeah, it is. And so if you're here, y'all want to support. I was just thinking about Philly Cat talking about Brain Tap. I have their app, but I was there like 8 years ago, so I'm on their free plan. I mean, not free, but I was one of their founders. And so so I get it free.
Nice.
And but it's long time ago. Long time.
You got an early in.
Man, it was like I even had his headphones and shit. They light up and shit.
Oh wow!
And now you have to buy that stuff, and you got all this free. That was $400. It was one something else, probably $400 or $500. So it was
wow.
This was 5, 6, 7 years ago. But anyway, y'all go to the website. We're gonna get out of here in a minute. I'm working on this new plan of action and really gonna hit this thing. We're gonna go into area. Nicole, we talked about it, but I think it's I'm ready. I'm excited, just personally and just take it to the next level. Oh, she said them things $800 now. Damn. They used to be, like I said, they used to be like 160 back 7, 8 years ago. Now them fuckers, oh my God.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is like cool. Yeah, it's man, not cool, but I mean that's the world. I mean, stuff expensive. Everything is going up but us. I think is what it is and stuff. But we're gonna do some stuff, and one more little shift of the brand a little bit for the last very time, and not looking back.
This is an award-winning podcast.
Yeah, yes,
award-winning podcast. So
yes,
this is where it's at.
Yes,
where it's at.
We're gonna do it totally different, and I need some social media people posting. We got to have a group of people to post, put some shit out there. Of course, I'm gonna provide it. I'm learning, but we have all new social media accounts and all that with where we're going and stuff. So I'll reveal all of that. But y'all can all start following and it's time to really
you got to push it into overdrive.
Yeah, because we got to get that
plaque. Award-winning podcast.
You know what? Because you told me that. Because you make sure I want to put that on it. Ask them if anybody was here in the beginning. In the first 1 minute, I said we are the 2024 top, the year podcast. But I should just use award-winning so that we leave it at that. Award-winning podcast.
One of very, very, very,
what?
Those accolades are you earned those accolades.
Absolutely. Hey, Don, text me. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I'm ready now. Okay, I'm ready. His cousin have a bar, and then we was able to do he was gonna let me. This was last year to do a live show there.
Oh wow! Is it in Dallas?
It's right outside of Dallas in Forney. So now that I got the equipment and some stuff is movable, it's time for me to go check it out, figure out the sound, and love to just because we're in interview. We're gonna take this thing to a whole nother
You can have so many. Have so many conversations with people just getting the opinion. Like a bar is kind of like a place where people will be ready to spill the truth.
Yeah.
And be in a relaxed state of mind, willing to talk about certain things that they wouldn't necessarily if they were in a more conservative environment.
Yeah, I'm in a different mindset right now, and just I just want to focus 1,000% on what we have to do. You're knocking at that door, and and you're knocking at that door, and
it's
pretty
time,
much,
my friend. It's time.
Yeah, so I'm texting.
You beat out people that have had millions of followers.
Well, you know what? Only reason that happened, here's what I say, is people like that, he probably just figured, I'm coming to this place and I got voted on. But had he knew and watched our show that you got to go and vote, and he would just say at one show, can y'all vote for me? And 500,000 people would have voted, right? Or we just deserve to win. Or we deserve to win, baby.
This was your time, baby.
It was my time. I'm gonna go with that.
Your time. This was your award. You earned it.
Because I remember, and I was talking to Courtney yesterday. I hopped in on her show. True story, though. I mean, right before, they was getting ready to go into the category where I was in, and I was like, man, and I was telling Selena, I was like, hey, and I looked down, and Courtney is down like 11, 12 people down, and she's staring at me, and she does my hand movement. Your eyes are blind. And I was like, Selena, I think I'm gonna win. I think I'm gonna win. She says, well, what are you talking about? I said, Courtney just she's a psychic. She gave me to do the thing, the nod. And man, they said Roderick Martin, and I was like, what? All right, then. And when I got up there at the end, I said, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Hell yes. Oh my God. Yeah. But y'all are going to love some stuff that I've been working on for 24/7, 12, 365 plus all this week. Awards. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to step up the game. Playtime is over. Forget it. Play. Our channel attitude is about to change. We're getting ready to be rebellious, y'all. I'm telling you. We got a whole new mission, whole new mantra. I'm talking serious stuff. I'm not lying. I'm taking the gloves off, period.
Take them off.
There's no more gloves. There's no more whatever.
No more.
Whatever.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, that's what's getting ready to happen. Y'all just know it. We're
As
gonna
it
talk.
Should.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some stuff now, some real stuff,
the juicy stuff.
Yeah, but y'all go to the website and support the show or cash out before it's too late, though.
Definitely,
because we can't have a broke message. We got to monetize the message, otherwise we can't reach nothing.
What did Billy say? Woke don't mean broke.
Woke don't mean broke. You got that right. So we got to do that. And it's all pretty much. Charles says, Garage, you're like the night gallery now. It's all alone. You got to do now and start talking show. Yeah. It's cool. I can't say that life was distracting, and then I'm not going to put my hands to say that, but it's just the focus has shifted, and the reality is we got to speed it up. This is not, and they're after our minds. The elites and the people, the plan is to, and you would think they're killing us with the food. All that's part of it, but they don't have to. They can control what's in our mind. They can do anything they want to do, and it's real easy, for them to do that. So we're going to be rebellious. We're simple. We're going to have a simple but powerful message and tonality. The content, how we're gonna, it'll prove over time, but the system of how we're gonna do it, is it's just time. It's freaking time, and I stand behind it. I really do, and it'll get better as we go, because we will, because now I need to get those communities. We need to find those investigative journalist type people. If anybody know this or where they hide, where they are. We need to find 10, 20 of these people that needs to be behind the scenes, because we finna go hard.
Mm-hmm.
We're going hard. We're really going hard, and we're after the truth. Period. Point blank. That part is for some of y'all.
Yes.
So what do you got up for the weekend? We get ready to get out of here.
Just preparing to get my kids ready for school on Monday.
Damn, but it's Friday.
Yeah. I gotta get backpacks ready and
Damn.
pack up
I
the
mean,
school supplies.
ain't that messed up though? Friday is when you're supposed to, oh, it's Friday and ain't got to work, or what's the song? It's Friday night. I just got paid. And then, but you're like, no, I am already dreading Monday.
I'm still on mom
Friday.
duty.
Yeah.
I'm always on mom
Right,
duty.
and you're
So.
you're a good mom though. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But you probably thought about that when you was a kid. Like one day I'm gonna have like, a boy and a girl, but you got two sons. You were like,
No, When I was a little girl, I told my mom, I said, I want 2 boys, and that's what I got.
Okay, well, you got 2 boys. Then mom duty.
So I manifested that.
Well, I'm not saying I manifested or whatever, but I was just doing it because it was cool and I made children. And lucked up. You know what I'm saying? It was a cool thing to do.
I have
everybody else was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I had two brothers, so it felt like it was natural for me to have boys.
Oh.
Because I'm the oldest sister, so.
Well, you never know. You could be raising your father in another life,
I always say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that easy now, y'all. Shoot, you could be
sometimes
doing
you
some
have to
stuff.
parent your parents.
I'm telling you, I was outside my mom's apartment. It was a roach, and he was walking, and I eyed him from standing where I was, and my predator eyes fixated on him, and I knew my ninja skills was there. My speed now was my agility was a lot higher, and I knew I was going to kill him. I was going to catch him. And right before I threw that fatal blow, he looked at me like, was you and you was I. I just heard him. And I was like, oh, you said I could come back as a roach if I knock you off, brother? Or once I was roach. And I just had this emotional of, you may pass. And I swear to you, he went down that road, that little path, and a Chi-Chi bird came down and just was in the ground. I know the bird got him.
Oh,
the bird.
Well, that was natural selection, so you ain't got.
You get what I'm saying? I'm like, I let him pass, and then the bird got him.
But
anyway.
that was the cycle of evolution, because the bird needs to eat, and so you gave him the bird, allowed the bird to get its
because I don't think he would have wanted mashed potatoes, because that roach
right.
It
was like it's not gonna want the smash. That's the ants usually get the smash other bugs and stuff that's already dead, but it needed some live prey. So you fed a bird, it might have took that to their babies, and there you go. It's just
judging by the ancient
life.
books of symbols, the bird had a particular meaning. So I did some good, and like Monica said, feeding the bird.
That's right.
I don't know about the roach, but I showed humility. Compassion, what's the other word? Mercifulness.
Yeah.
And I let him pass, and I wasn't the one who caused his demise.
Yeah. See, me, I'm like, I'm not my this is not kind of like unofficial rule. I don't kill bugs if we're outside.
You don't kill bugs
if we're outside.
Oh.
If we're outside, that's their territory. They can be out there.
I was a hunter.
But if they come in my house, it's fair game. If they come in my house,
I was killing them, man. I was killing them. I got bug spray in there and spray outside, and there was a gnat that goes fruit fly over there. I'm gonna hunt him down tomorrow.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Once you breach into the home territory, it's a suicide mission. So if I get you, I get you. But if you're outside, do your thing out there. I'm not trying to bother you. But once you cross the threshold,
yeah,
have to get out.
It is what it is. Okay, make sure y'all go to the website, buy a shirt, buy some stuff, get your ebooks. Cash App is up there. We take contributions. Tonight we had a couple sales, and then we had a contribution. So. But usually we're popping it, but I'm begging more. Like I'd be like, "Yo, come on!" I just got tired, man. I really did. And then I would get emails all the time. You begging. I'm like, "Well, damn," But that's all right. I love everyone. I love the people who support this show. But now we're going to, with everybody's help, the collective, as we get this channel built more and get the ad revenue from YouTube. Let YouTube pay us, right? But we got to spread the word. So I need to figure out either a contest, and maybe we can think of something. Maybe a contest where people are sharing it with 10 people. And there used to be a software that I think you can track that. We need to do some research. But there is a social software that people will enter through whatever, and then as they share, it'll keep a score of who's sharing, who wins the contest, I think. But it's a really good way to do that. I forget what it is, but we'll look it up. Somebody look it up in the audience. Send me a email about it, contact@whatthebigsecret.com if you so want to be helpful with that. I'm with you, Nicole. Let's not be colonizers. Insect, animals in Houston humans are all the same. You come from me prepared to get got. Well,
silly.
Well, that's that old Chinese proverb of a tiger. You know, a lion will fight anything like it is. So if it's a mouse, it plays with it. But a tiger fight everything like it's another tiger.
Yeah.
It don't care what it is. Like it did that dog. I don't know if y'all seen on social media. It was a tiger attacked the dog. He woke the tiger up, and that tiger just messed him up. Yeah, I'm so sad. All right, Nicole, I appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay, y'all. So we're going to get out of here. That was the greatness of Nicole, our lead researcher and my friend. Been around a long time. We share some great inside moments and stuff, and we got many, many more to do. And we got a lot to do. We got a lot of stuff we can really do. So she was like, Roderick, it's time to raise the ante back up. Let's get the group back. Let's start back having our meetings. I was like, you know what? Let's do it. We're going to do it. So we're on a whole new level. So anyone else out there, I just want to tell you, thank you. Yes, you're listening to an award-winning podcast, but now we're going to move up to the hype and not to the hype. We're going to create hype now, right? It's time for us to do that. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. You could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be here right now. I'm going to be held accountable for some things. And we're going to be doing it, and I won't let you down. And there's some areas I think I probably could have done a little better, and I'm going to do better. But you know what? You know, if I don't tell you, you don't know. But because I'm just as transparent as I can be, then I do that. But I love each and every one of you, all of you who's been there, who support, you know, from nickels to dimes to dollars to hundreds to whatever. It has been an amazing ride, and I could not have done it without the collective, whether it's your time, whether it's your conversation, whether it's your presence being here, whether it's you clicking the like button, maybe you make a comment, or maybe you told somebody about it. Whatever the collective is, I just want to tell you, thank you, and do more of it. Let's go. Let's do it. We're going to take it to another level. So with that being said, good night. Enjoy. Love yourself. Love everyone else. And maybe I can do my little transit. I don't know if it still works, but y'all remember this? But nope, it don't work. Truth seekers. I don't know. But anyway, so I missed that. We located in the jumbo states. This is where those UFOs come out to play. All right. So let's get on out of here. Y'all take care. See you next week. Yeah, next week.
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shot that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.
A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
Let us